Okay, so I'm Richard Burton from the Richard Burton Art Centre. So here we are, outside again, doing a bit of plein air painting. This time we're at one of my most favourite locations, which is overlooking Filey Brig from the hillside at Speeton here near Speeton Cliffs. It's a great location. It really is a wonderful, it's got some great colour because we're in late April now. We've got the gorse in colour, we've got the leaves coming into the trees. There's a real range of colour cascading over the countryside, and then it disappears into the bay at Filey, and what a wonderful location it is. So we're going to have a go at this today. I've got my easel, I've got my board as usual. I've got some 300-gram paper, which is just what I really like. It's got a knot surface to it, it's got a little bit of a surface, so it's ideal for that. Got my water at the ready, and I've got my paints, and first of all we've got my pencil. So let's get a start, let's get painting. So when it comes to the drawing, what I'm looking for is this nice sweep that takes me through the painting. I'm captivated by the gorse in the foreground. We've got all that lovely colour. Then we've got the hills, and we've got sort of rolling into the hedges and the woodland area that takes me then through to the caravan site and into the town of Filey and through into the Filey Brig. And I think that really works a nice, simple landscape drawing. So I'm going to keep my drawing quite simple, but get those essence of those elements on my paper. Okay, so we're going to start the painting. Start with the sky. Today it's really warm. It's quite windy actually, and there's quite dry. So what I'm going to be facing now is that the washes are going to dry really quickly. So logistics wise, I'm going to have to sort of really keep the paper moist as much as I possibly can, and consciously be aware of the drying of the paper. So we're going to start with the sky. The sky is going to be cobalt blue with an element of alizarin crimson and possibly a touch of yellow ochre, just to give that, or raw sienna, just to give a little bit of a cloud formation as we drop into the horizon. The horizon's got an element of, not mist, but it's got heat haze on the horizon, so I'm going to drop straight from the sky into the horizon. I'm going to start with the distant hills, and they're going to be something like cobalt blue with a little bit of alizarin crimson or magenta, just the two, just to drop those in and bring down the paper from the top. The paper's going to be dry, but I'm going to bring a variegated wash of colour right the way through to cover not just the hills, but we're going to cover the distance, the middle distance and the foreground, and work our way right through into the foreground. The colours are going to change. I'm going to have a range of greens. I'm going to start with the bluey green and then transfer that into a more distinct green using cobalt turquoise and a little bit of raw umber, yellow raw sienna really in essence. And then as I come forward, I'm going to start using a bit of lemon yellow into it to make some vibrant greens. As I come, also there's some sort of stubbled fields in there, so I'm going to use a little bit of Caprian red in the mix just to create some sort of redness in those fields. And then as I come forward, the trees in the foreground to middle distance are going to get a wash of raw umber. And then as I work my way forward, I'm going to get a much more vibrant green in the foreground, so I'm going to bring in that lemon yellow and sort of Prussian blue and yellow ochre, and that should hopefully give me that sense of colour perspective, so we'll be able to look right through the painting and help to give depth. Now I'm wanting to make sure I can get that gorse colour. It really is quite a sort of distinct area in the painting, and it's dominating quite a lot of the landscape at this time. It's a lovely colour, so I want to capture that. I'm going to use Caprian yellow, lemon yellow, and probably a bit of a Caprian orange combination just to sort of drop that in. And then around that I'm going to drop in a bit of dark green just to sort of, on the moist paper, just to sort of set it in its place. Now we've got the sky and the earth in place, I'm now going to wanting to put the town and the hedges and the trees in, and start from the distance and work my way forward. And in the distance I'm going to use ultramarine blue, a bit of raw umber, and then as I come forward I'm going to add more raw umber and cobalt turquoise and bring that forward, slowly just dancing the brush in the distance just to give the impression of the hedges that are sort of separating the fields as we come down. As I come further forward I'm going to add a bit more raw umber, and then I'm going to make them a little bit more distinctly green with the use of a little bit more cobalt turquoise. That is going to vary. I'm going to bring those down, and that'll give me, I'm starting to develop a little bit of shape now for the distinct areas. Now I'm going to add some more definition to the trees in the foreground with some varied different greens, just creating a bit of dark in amongst the greens. So it's all sort of combinations of what I've used before, probably with the addition of the dark going to be used like cobalt blue, ultramarine blue, and probably a touch of burnt sienna to keep a little bit extra darks in place. I'm going to dance the brush around and pick those up. They're going to vary the darks and vary the sort of shadows as we work our way through the painting for the trees in different stages and different places. Now I've left the town and the caravan park as such, and now I'm going to revisit those with some soft greys, probably cobalt blue, light red, and just put some shade for the around those to give the impression of something that's man-made in the distance, which are trying to capture the essence of the caravan park. And as I work further back, I'm also going to work in the towns, and I'm going to use some light red in those areas as well to try and capture the feeling of the roofs and the distant buildings. We're now sort of looking at really trying to capture the beach and the cliff and sort of round to Filey Brig. I'm going to revisit those a little bit more distance, a little bit more detail, a little bit more dark, and give them a little bit more shape overall. So it's just going to be a gradual process of just bringing a little bit more dark and a little bit more shadow and giving the impression of that distant shapes, and also going to put in the town. So I'm going to put a little bit extra dark around the town so I can hopefully highlight some of the buildings on the seafront that are really just capturing the light and are standing out against the dark trees in the town. As I say, all along it's drying very, very quickly, and it's a bit of a battle to try and keep on top of the moisture on the paper, trying to make sure that there's sufficient moisture so that watercolour can still interact and do its stuff and granulate in the way that I want, but it is drying very quickly. So now we're going to work into to get the sea, and I'm going to put the sea starting with the very far distant sea, which is just above the brig, and that's going to be ultramarine blue and Prussian blue. I'm just going to bring that down, put a wash in there and bring that down as a variegated wash. So I'm just going to bring a bead of colour through the painting, come down beyond the brig, come down into the water, and just change it a little bit as it comes a little bit closer. I add a little bit of alizarin crimson just to give that colour change. There's a few hard edges and a few lines. That's mainly because it's drying so quickly, but hopefully they'll give that sort of little bit of feeling of movement in the water, and I'm not too worried about them at this stage. I think they'll when it dries, I think they'll be fine. Finally, I want to give that feeling of foreground. It's quite a soft foreground with quite a little bit of highlight amongst the green. So I'm just going to work that up a little bit more, lift off and apply a little bit of purple and a little bit of colour and just drop those in. That's the area I think does need a bit of attention, and we'll just try and loosely give the impression of foreground that will just nicely lead your eye into the painting. Now I'm just a case of it's dried again very quickly. I'm looking at just overall the effects of the darks, making sure that I've got that recession. So I'm just going to revisit some of the shadows and darks in the gorse and in the hedges and in the woodland area, just to make sure we get that flow of from foreground to distance. And that's going to be a little bit of delicate work with a small brush. Okay, so there we are. We've finished. Well, thereabouts anyway. It was quite challenging because it's really hot today. It's really quite hot. Well, it's not so much hot, but it's wind and it's drying really quickly. So I was really up against it in that respect. I've got that centre place, so I'm quite happy with the ghost in the foreground leading my eye into the picture. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's finally big, plein air, out in the open, painting at its best, really, and you get to understand the colours far more and everything else. So if you like that, please remember to like and subscribe. That gives an opportunity for the algorithms to pick us up, and hopefully many more people will see these videos. And I suppose until now, till next time, enjoy and keep painting.